All right. So, welcome everybody. So, uh, as Isabella mentioned, this is our presentation on MuleSoft and Java 17, what, why, and how. We're going to be discussing MuleSoft's journey to becoming Java 17 compliant. And with that being said, I'd like to just introduce both myself and my colleague, who's the product manager for this. So just a real quick introduction about myself. As you can see, my name's Kyle Burke. I'm a senior manager with the customer success team. I have been at MuleSoft now for about 6 years, and actually prior to that, I was a customer. Um, I've done quite a few of these meetups before. I also have several videos out on Friends of Max, around a lot of different content. Written a few blogs, so lots of stuff out there, lots of different content. And Amit, do you want to introduce yourself real quickly?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kyle. Hello, everyone. Glad to meet everyone. I'm Amit Shori. I'm responsible for the Mule runtime, and also I was running the Java 17 program.
Awesome. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump right into things. So, firstly, before we get into the actual content, I first want to give a quick reminder: Salesforce is publicly traded, and anybody that is listening to this call, you should be basing your purchasing decisions based on the products and services that are currently available, and not necessarily on any forward-looking statements that we may be making during this meeting. So let's jump into the agenda quickly. Um, so similarly to what the title says, we're going to talk about why are we going through this journey? What does the timeline look like? Um, what has MuleSoft actually done to prepare it so that we're totally ready for this upgrade? What does the effort level look like? And then talk about some resources you have to actually get the job done. So to start with, you may be asking yourself, why is MuleSoft making us go through this upgrade process? The simple answer is that we want to ensure that both your applications and our platform is supportable and secure. A while back, feature updates for Java 8 stopped being released, and in 2026, security support is going to end, which will lead to security vulnerabilities. On top of that, we have many components of the platform that are outside of the endpoint ecosystem, such as Studio running in Eclipse, which are also ending support. Because of this, we want to work to get our entire endpoint platform and anything that's going to be touching it to be Java 17 compliant so that we can maintain a supportable and secure platform for our customers. Now that we understand why MuleSoft is doing this upgrade, what does this actually mean for the Java runtime and supportability? Prior to Mule 4.6, MuleSoft support or MuleSoft only supported Java 8. But starting with the release of 4.6, MuleSoft began supporting Java 17, albeit optional. Now, any releases including and after Mule 4.9 will require Java 17. For most of you, this shouldn't be big news. We've been talking about this for quite some time. As you can see in the graphic above, we started, we released Mule runtime version 4.6 in February of last year. So it's been about a year and a half since we have started these conversations. And at the very least, customers need to get their applications up to 4.6 in Java 17 by October of 2025. So as you can see on the graphic, that's when end of extended support for the last version that fully supports Java 8 ends. With that being said, all customers need to have all of their applications upgraded to Java 17 and Mule 4.9 by October of 2026. This is when the end of extended support ends for Mule 4.6, which is the last time that we will support Java 8. After this, MuleSoft will no longer be supporting Java 8. Now that we understand the timeline for Java 17 upgrade, let's take a look at what MuleSoft has done to ensure that we are ready for you to bring all your applications up to Java 17 compliance. At Salesforce, our number one value is trust, and as such, we need to ensure that our platform is 100% tested and compliant with Java 17 as well. As you can see here, this is the MuleSoft product suite, and there are many, many products included in this, including our commercial environments, our private cloud, US Gov Cloud environments, our deployment tooling, any of our managed experiences, as well as our design tooling. So lots of different aspects to our platform, and MuleSoft has diligently tested every one of these products to ensure that we are fully compliant with Java 17 applications, and all the components work in every area. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of go through each one of the areas and talk about a little bit around what we've done in each one of these areas. So one of the major objections that we often face with customers is ensuring that our connectors are fully functional. Our engineering teams have gone through all of the MuleSoft created connectors and ensured that they are fully Java 17 compatible, and are working with our partner ecosystem to ensure that all partner developed connectors are fully compatible. One thing to note is that if you have developed a custom connector using our REST SDK, you will need to manually update these and to ensure that your connectors are Java 17 compatible, and you can do so with our connector upgrade playbook. I'll get to, in a few slides, I'll get to some of the resources that we have where I will link to the connector playbook. Next, in a similar vein, we want to ensure that all of our MuleSoft provided API manager policies are Java 17 compliant. One of the things to ensure is that your underlying applications are Java 17 compatible before you can apply Java 17 policies to them. As I mentioned before, we've gone through and we have tested all of the MuleSoft provided policies and ensured that they are Java 17 compatible. And then one final note is, as I mentioned, that if you have a Java 17 compatible application, you need to have a Java 17 policy. Likewise, if you have a Java 8 compatible application, you need to be, if you're using Java 8 in your application, you need to be using a Java 8 compatible policy. While on the topic of managing APIs, we also want to make sure the APIs brought under management outside of MuleSoft, that the gateways are and the proxies are also Java 17 compatible. And so we've gone through and we've tested all of these as well. Now when we talk about our design environment, as of Studio 7.17, I believe that we're on 7.21 now. All Studio versions are fully tested to be Java 17 compatible, and that also includes our MUnit components. And finally, to actually complete your actual development of your applications, you want to ensure that the deployment methodologies are all fully tested. So we've gone through the Runtime Manager UI to ensure that any and all deployments of Java 17 applications are able to work properly, and that includes Cloud Hub, RTF, and hybrid standalone applications. We've gone through and looked at our Mule Maven plugin, and that and so we ensure that the Mule Maven plugin is working properly with Java 17, and as well as any of the deployment APIs and the Anypoint command line interface. Now we know the entire platform is ready for everybody. Now let's understand what this looks like for you. So most of you are probably asking the question, okay, how much effort is this going to take? For most all customers, there are three main areas of focus for the upgrade process: connectors, application upgrades, and API proxy and policy upgrades. So each one of those we kind of break into a couple different areas. You'll see a common theme around here around out of the box and versus custom developed. And we'll talk a little bit around the order of magnitude for the actual upgrade to Java 17. Firstly, when it comes to connectors, there are two types of connectors to upgrade. Connectors provided by MuleSoft via Exchange, and those um, that have been custom built by the individual customer. As you know, 99% of the connectors that you're using are going to be MuleSoft provided. So you're getting them right out of Exchange. As we talked about earlier, those are fully tested already by MuleSoft. Those are already Java 17 compliant. So we know that those are going to be working with Java 17. With that being said, if you have gone and built your connectors with the Java SDK or the XML SDK, which, as I mentioned, around less than 1% of the scope, that's going to be a little bit more of an effort for you, because then you're going to need to go through and ensure that any of the custom code that you've written into those connectors works properly with Java 17. So you'll need to do a lot of that testing for yourself. Next, we have application upgrades, which have also been split into the similar categories. Those with no custom code, which is going to be about 75% of our applications that are in Cloud Hub, and those that have custom code written in them, which is about 25% of our applications in Cloud Hub. So as you know, we mentioned in the previous slides, for applications that are out of the box, this again is a very simple process, as we've already tested all the components, so it should be as simple as a click to upgrade. On the other hand, if you have custom code in your applications, you'll need to manually review and update that code to ensure that this code is Java 17 compliant, and this will take a little bit more effort. Obviously, you have written your code, you understand that code better than anybody else, and so the actual review process should be fairly simple for that. With that being said, we just wanted to call out that it could take a little bit more of an effort. Lastly, we want to talk about the API proxies and policy upgrades. For the out-of-the-box policies, as we mentioned previously in the presentation, MuleSoft has already gone through, tested all of these policies, and ensured that they work properly. So therefore, it should be as simple as a click to update for these individual policies. However, if you have custom code in these policies, you will again need to inspect and update that code. With everything in the developer world, these are level of magnitude estimates because every customer and application is different. There may be some customers that are extremely skilled developers, and they can handle this upgrade without batting an eye. With that being said, there are other customers that are newer to MuleSoft, and they may need a little extra help. Because of this, we've gone and put together an extensive list of resources for you to be able to help you with your upgrade process. Now, I'll work well to ensure that these lists get out to everybody after this presentation, so you have all of these links available. But let me this list a little bit just to help explain what resources are out there for you to help you in this process. The first thing And as I'm sure with most of you guys know, by being in this meeting, we have an extensive Trailblazer community that is always working to help each other uh, with topics like this. So we have dedicated forums to discuss this with fellow customers to understand what other customers are going through, find customers that may have already ran into issues that you already have, and be able to help them with that. Or they could help you with any of the issues that you're facing. With that being said, we also have put together, and all these are publicly available to write on our help sites and some of our blogs. We have our Java 17 upgrade FAQs. So this is a place where you can go and consult articles for answers to a lot of the frequently asked questions to the Java 17 upgrades. We've also put together a comprehensive guide with lots of resources for how to upgrade your individual applications. Here we have a link to the report where you can review documentation for detailed guidance on the upgrade process and performance considerations. We also have Anypoint Studio 7.17, easier support for Java 17. So this is a blog that was put together that talks about how Anypoint Studio 7.17 and higher have improved their IDE to be more stable and performant with Java 17. We also include in here, we've also included in here for the connector compatibility, how to be able to test whether or not the connectors are compatible with the Java 17 modules. We talk about how to upgrade your Java policies and API and for API proxies to make sure those policies are going to be Java 17 compatible. This is we also have a link for known issues with Java 17. So if you have any concerns, we go through and we discuss any of the known issues that are out there that MuleSoft is currently working to fix. We also have an article to access the article for a comprehensive list of Anypoint connectors that are Java 17 compatible. As I mentioned before, anything that is MuleSoft provided is going to be Java 17 compatible at this point. And then the majority of our partner-owned connectors are going to be Java 17 compatible. And we're actively working to anything that is remaining that is partner owned. We're actively working with our partner network to ensure that those are compatible. Finally, we have best practices for upgrading to 4.6. So if you are one of those customers has 4 months left and you're still on Java 4.4, we have best practices for how to upgrading to 4.6, which, as I mentioned before, is the first version that actually supports Java 8 and Java 17. If you're one of the customers that has built custom connectors, we have documentation for how to actually go about that upgrade process. And finally, if you are to run into any Java 17 troubleshooting issues, we do have an article to that helps you look at any of the Java 17 specific issues and troubleshoot them. With all of that, I'm going to change over into Q&A mode, and I will bring Amit back in to assist me with any questions, as he's the guru. Just really quickly, I know we've got everything in the Q&A tab, but to the comment in the chat, the clicking the links in the current slide does nothing. Yep, so this is just the presentation. After the presentation's over, we will go through and we'll send out any of the additional links. And I do want to echo, as Isabella had mentioned, if we could go and put all the questions you have in the Q&A tab, so we have one place to look at everything. We'll use the chat just for more, hello, how are you type of things. And we will use the Q&A section for any of the questions. Okay. Isabel, what's the best way that we want to go through
Let me,
and handle?
so I see that a couple folks, thank you for following instructions to those of you who answer or who supplied questions in the Q&A tab. A few, Amit has already gone through and answered a couple of them, but I wonder if I can still read aloud so folks who might not be following along can still benefit from the answers that are being shared in the Q&A tab. So just to start, I did get a question around, will slides and notes be shared after this? They absolutely will be. I'll be sending that out as soon as the recording is available, either later today or early tomorrow. Sometimes it just depends on the processing time. Beyond that, Srinivas wants to know, is there any Java 17 upgrade tool available from MuleSoft?
Yeah, I can answer that. So for Java 17, we have, so in Studio and now in a few months in ACB, we have a compatibility checker. So one can see which are the ones connectors that are incompatible or incompatible with Java 17 and can upgrade that. There is also a tool from services. It's called the Mule dependency report. We can share that. So that's a tool built by the services team where one can, run it through one's APIs and get a compatibility report.
Thank you. And then Iqbal has a question. So moving from Java to Java 17, will we be able to deploy to Cloud Hub 1.0 or will we need to migrate to Cloud Hub 2.0?
No, one can deploy to both Cloud Hub 1, 2, or any other deployment environment.
Awesome. And we might have touched on this, but just in case, is there documentation available to know which custom code and application requires changes while upgrading to 17?
Yeah, so in our documentation on data wave, we have some language around that. So essentially the main issue, and at least even in this chat, the main issue or one of the main gaps between Java 8 and Java 17 is a reflective access of variables. So earlier one could access fields directly, while now you need to use the API or the getter setter to access these fields. So this is a change in Java 17. So those parts of the code where there is reflective access, normally one needs to update. And yeah, that is also there in our documentation, but that's from these questions also it appears that that's what that's where there are some issues being seen.
Got it. Okay. I'm seeing some specific company related issues. So Eduardo mentions in their company, they have an on-premise MuleSoft setup. The biggest challenge in migrating to Java 17 has been the data weave objects that were removed in runtime 4.6. For example, error mule message. Where can we find a comprehensive list of the removed objects and their replacements?
Yeah, so this is the one that I mentioned, right? Around reflective access. So that's the that's what is happening there. But can you just point me to the question again? I'll just double confirm.
It was mentioned by Eduardo at 8:16 a.m.
Oh, okay. I'll just have a look once again.
It looks like there's a couple kind of issue.
Yeah. So this is something error.mule message. Yeah. So this is the same what I just mentioned. Yeah. Yeah.
And similarly, issues with the Groovy. Where is it? Sorry.
Yeah. So Groovy script is not working by default in 9 LTS. Tried adding dependencies manually, but no luck. Any help with this? So do we have,
Okay.
Maybe
yeah, you can file a case. Yeah, this one I don't know off the hand like what's happening.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Kyle.
Naga, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. I would definitely suggest putting in a support case with that, just so we can have the support team look at that. And then also, when you put in the support cases, they have ways to tag it so that folks like Amit and folks on can be able to see that. So then they can go, if there are additional issues, and they can go and work on that. But as I always tell all of my customers, if we don't know about it, we can't fix it. So please put in the support cases, and then we can go and we can take a look at that, and we can work on anything. So you're just helping opening up any blind spots that we have.
Mhm. And then Raj has a question. Can you go directly from 4.4 to 4.9?
You can.
Great.
Yep, if you want to. Yep. So one of the things, as always, when you're skipping versions, you want to make sure that you're testing out everything, because it's not as simple as just going like from 4.4 to 4.6 to 4.9. There's going to be additional changes that are going to be happening in between. So make sure that you are doing your testing, but there's nothing technically stopping you from doing that.
Awesome. Yeah. And Satish says that they are doing 4.4 to 4.9 and didn't have any major issues so far. So that's good news.
We Amit and his team work very hard to make sure that all of our runtimes are backwards compatible. And anytime there is any backwards compatibility issues, they're called out in the release notes. So definitely make sure you're looking through your the release notes for any breaking changes that are being made. But in general, there are very, very few of them. So you shouldn't have any issues.
Yeah. Folks wondering about document links, we will be sharing those out. And you will be able to access them today when we share first-time versions of the slides with you later. So no worries, we will get those document links out to you. And if you're a member already of our Slack community workspace, I'll be sharing the links in those channels as well. So there are a couple questions that came into the chat, so I'm just going to quickly toggle over there and just make sure we're seeing everyone. So if we upgrade from 4.9.2 to 4.9.5, do we need full regression testing by our QA? That's from Samba.
So what I would say to that is that's going to be up to your individual teams and their level of risk. In general, when you're going for just patch releases, just such as that, generally you do not need full regression testing. They're simply patch releases, which is security fixes. They're always going to be backwards compatible, especially as patch releases. So when we talk about minor versions, before we were talking about going from 4.4 to 4.9, those are going to be minor releases. So there's a few more changes that are happening there. There's actually enhancements to the product that are happening. When we're talking about patch releases like 4.9.2 to 4.9.5, those are security fixes. So those are just simply minor changes to the applications to make them more secure. We're not actually changing functionality. Those should always be backwards compatible. But as I always tell my customers, I don't want to be the person telling you how to do your testing. Make sure your QA team is fully informed as far as what those changes are, and allow them to make that decision. But as long from my perspective, those changes are very minor, and they should not need full regression testing, but all to default to your teams internally.
Absolutely. And then Sneha has a question. So as a part of encryption, will Java 8 security jar encrypted passwords, will they be decrypted in Java 17 without any issues?
So I'll default to you on this one.
Yeah, we can double check, but I don't see there should be any problem here. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there shouldn't be encrypted pass. No.
Okay, I think we had a couple questions come into the Q&A. So Satish asks, any option to auto update the API policies? Looks like we are going to.
No, there is no auto update on the API policies. By auto update, I assume you mean that the policies will be like when you open the app, you don't need to take the action that Kyle showed in his presentation, but we in the backend will update it to the Java 17 compatible policies. So we are not doing that, but we are providing the tools like was shown in Kyle's slide for customers to detect and know where they need to update to Java 17 compatible policies.
Got it. Really quickly, I want to make sure we're not missing any questions. Not seeing any new questions come in. Give it about 30 more seconds. Oh, Tony, you had a question. Let me go back and try and find it. Okay. So it's quite a long one, and I'm probably going to butcher the delivery of it. So if folks want to follow along, this question is from Tony, 8:16 a.m. The Mule4 SFTP connector 1.6 needs a Java 17 compatible release to support Mule4 integrations that need SFTP compatibility, not provided by the Mule4 SFTP2X connector. Is MuleSoft committed to releasing a Java 17 compatible release of the Mule4 SFTP connector 1.6x to ensure continued availability for existing Mule4 applications that rely on it and need to run on Mule 4.9?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just checking this this particular connector. Isabel, this.
Mhm. And then while we wait, Kalyan, you mentioned you're new to MuleSoft. Welcome. And you asked where you can get roadmaps to skill up. And then I see wonderful Steven has popped in. He's one of our amazing mentors. We invite you to connect with one of our mentors. If you're not already a member of our channel, I'm going to go ahead and paste a link to apply to join. Please note, folks, this is the same community Slack workspace that exists. So if you're already a member of the MuleSoft community Slack workspace, you don't need to sign up again. You're already in there. But Kalyan, in case you're not a member of our org already, I'm going to go ahead and post that link here. So you can request it and get you paired with a mentor. But I see Stephen has also mentioned he can help out.
So regarding the question on SFTP, right? So I'm just checking Exchange. So yeah, I think the version 2.4 onwards, all of them are compatible. And the question is regarding 1.6, right? Yeah, so 1.6. So I assume, and I will check with our connectivity team, but what has happened is that there has been, so 1.6 appears it's only Java 8 and 11. So probably there was a major version change to make it compatible with 17, which is why, the version number got bumped up. That looks most likely the reason. But I can also double confirm with our connectivity team if we are doing something around Mule4 SFTP 1.6 and get back, Isabel.
Yeah. So Tony, what we'll do is I'll jot down your information and we can work through your account team to try and get you that information. Amit will do some research on his side, and I'll work on the customer facing side to ensure that your account team can get you the information that you need.
Yeah, Venkata, I wonder if your question is related to Tony. So you see that SFTP has changed from JCraft to Apache, and it has been logging a lot of unnecessary information. How can this be avoided? I don't know if this is something else we're also going to have to follow up on.
So Amit, is the SFTP connector, is that a MuleSoft connector or is that a partner connector?
SFTP is our connector. Just 1 second. Yeah, it's a MuleSoft connector.
Okay.
And then additionally, Alan Wark has a question around how can we handle the incompatibility issue with some external systems like Snowflake DB?
So I'm assuming that the question is asking like, okay, we've got Snowflake DB and the version of Snowflake that we're using is not compatible with Java 17. So a couple things to mention there. So one, as we mentioned before, we're ending, Java is ending its support for, in I believe this October. Man, you got to keep me honest on this one.
Java 8 is like October 2026, 4.6, right?
Yeah. But so somebody's asking about external systems.
Mhm.
So the point that I was going to make was around if these external systems are still using Java 8, they're soon to be out of compliance. And so they should be working on being upgraded. Unfortunately, we can't continue to make MuleSoft be uncompliant past those dates due to security reasons. I believe that there may be some exception processes. You'll have to work through your account team to understand what those are. But at some point it starts to bring our platform under makes our platform vulnerable for other customers. So we have to stop our support at some point. Again, there is a potential for an exception process. It's very rare that we grant those, but if you want to work with your account team, there's potential that we can work through that. But again, it'll be through your account executive, and if you have a customer success manager, they could also help you as well.
Yeah, and for folks who have questions in line with Tony's, when we do have a solution or some more information, I'll make sure to make it. Here's what I'll do. I'll note your names, and I can reach out with more information. That way, everyone here who has questions around it can get some closure.
Yeah, Isabel, if you want to just keep me in the loop with that, I can help connect you with account teams and all that good stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that as well. All right, folks. I'm not seeing any new questions coming in. Okay, of course, as soon as oh yeah, Satish is just letting him know his notes so far, which is great. We love crowdsourcing. The more you all can help one another because you've been through it, the better. I'm even open, if enough folks are struggling with this, to spinning up a channel so we can have some more internal support within our community Slack workspace. Oh, awesome, Satish. That's great. Sending some notes for folks in case they're running into these issues. This is the beauty of community.
So just real quickly to Sneha's question. So we're on 4.4. Actually, support for 4.4 ends in October of this year, so in 4 months. So that is the end of extended support. So standard support has already ended. We are now into extended support. Extended support ends in October. So that's going to be the deadline for actually getting those applications from 4.4 to 4.6. If you get from 4.4 to 4.6, 4.6 is still Java 8 compatible until October of next year. So I would at least be working on those applications that you can't get up to 4.9 and Java 17 compatible, at least to 4.6 and Java 8 compatible, and then work to get to 4.9 after that, because that will give you an additional year. But as for the extended support for 4.4, again, that only lasts for another 4 months.
Yes, and then Robert had a question. They had to use com.mulesoft.dw. It's a long, I'm not going to read all of it. One application, and this is not listed in the Java 17 4.9 as an option. Do you know if this property still needs to be used for 17 4.9?
Which one? Sorry.
So this is in the Q&A. It was just sent at 8:41
from Robert.
Oh, okay. We had to use. data wave dot values. I can check this one. I'm not completely
Okay.
sure.
And Isabel, just for my information, internally, will we get a copy of like the Q&A section so we can go through and follow up on anything?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and download.
Okay, perfect.
And then I've taken some screenshots as well for follow-up. So yeah. Okay, this is probably a question for today, folks, and then we'll wrap up. Sajid asks, we are migrating from 4.4 to 4.6 Java 17. At the time we started migration, 4.6 runtime is available, but currently it is 4.9. Is there something to be worried about the 4.6 support in this scenario?
That's a fairly common scenario where customers are going from 4.4 to 4.6. Some customers are also doing, like as we mentioned earlier in the call, there are some customers are doing 4.4 to 4.9, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with running some of your applications. And I mean, frankly, right now you could be running in 4.4, 4.6, and 4.9. You could have them running in all different areas. There's nothing technically wrong with that. Obviously, from a maintainability perspective, it's easier when you have your applications all running on the same versions. But there's nothing wrong with taking that approach. You were doing the right thing by starting your Java 17 migration early before we had 4.9 out there. It's just going to be that much easier for you to make that next step. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that approach, and there's nothing technically wrong with having all those versions out there. That's totally fine.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you folks so much for joining us. Satish, I might be in contact with you to get a copy of your notes so we can distribute. Looks like folks are finding those helpful. So maybe just in an easier to view and read format, our Q&A tab is not always the best in terms of presentation. Just wanted to say thank you so much to our presenters. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us today. And most importantly, to our community for joining us here today. We really appreciate you taking the time to come, learn, ask questions in person. And like I mentioned, we will be sharing the recording later today or early tomorrow. And with permission from Kyle and Amit, we can also download and share out some slides as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll confirm with Amit offline, but there should be no issues with sharing these slides. I pulled all of these from our customer-facing deck, so we should be fine.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you at our next meetup. Thanks all.
All right, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.